Hey there, welcome to Chris's Texas Sports Podcast. I am Chris, by the way. Astros pitcher Framber Valdez came with an out of recording the second no-hitter of his career. He had two outs with a runner on first when the Rangers' Corey Seager hit a two-run home run to break up the no-hitter and the shutout. Josh Hader came in and made the save, and the Astros ended up winning 4-2. The Houston Chronicle had an article saying that Corey Seager's quickly becoming Astros enemy number one. They provided an injury update on outfielder Kyle Tucker. Manager Joe Espada said he did some work, has been doing some work that he put on video. Here's what Manager Espada said. Tucker did a ton of stuff to that back home. I just got a video and it looked pretty good. The next few days are important. I'm going to keep him away from the turf and get him on the outfield grass and look at him. That was from manager Joe Espada. They also called up third baseman Zach DeZenzo and sent down outfielder Trey Cabbage. They've also discussed infield prospect Shea Whitcomb for a potential call-up. The Rangers, meanwhile, are going to the White House to meet with President Biden and get the champions White House photo up. In NFL news, the Texans said that C.J. Stroud and their other starters are going to play on Friday's preseason game against the Steelers. In other Texans news, ABC 13 in Houston reported that offensive tackle Titus Howard was carted out of practice. Elder Red Blog also reporting that. KHOU in Houston and Texans Wire have reported the cause of death of former Texans wide receiver and kick returner Jacoby Jones. The cause is listed as natural causes and hypertensive cardiovascular disease. Meanwhile, the Cowboys put wide receiver CeeDee Lamb on the did not report to camp list. I was listening on local sports talk radio, and they were talking about Dak Prescott's contract, which is up at the end of this year. And my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if if it drags on until the end of the season. The Cowboys opened their preseason against the Rams on Sunday. Former Cowboys running back Dwayne Thomas passed away yesterday. He was 77. In college football news, Texas running back C.J. Baxter suffered a knee injury during practice. Athletes from UT have won 30 of the 79 medals for the U.S. in the Paris Olympics so far. By the way, C.J. Baxter suffered that injury yesterday. The Longhorns are ranked number 4 in the coaches poll. It's been announced that next year's Bayou Bucket game between the University of Houston and Rice University will be the last in the series. The series started back in 1971. The two Houston campuses are only 5 miles apart. They played each other 45 times, with Houston leading the series 33-12. In 2026 and 2027, they'll play two FCS schools. Baylor's Hal Presley is on the Comeback Player of the Year award watch list. Rice's Dean Connors is on the Doak Walker Award watch list. The ACC network from ESPN has a show they call ACC Football Road Trip as we get ready for the season. And yesterday they were at SMU. They spoke with Coach Rhett Lashley. And TCU quarterback Josh Hodges is on the Comeback Player of the Year award watch list. Coming up, a look at the UTSA Roadrunners for 2024. Last year, the UTSA Roadrunners, UTSA, by the way, stands for the University of Texas at San Antonio. They went 9-4 last year. They 7-1 record in the AAC, and they beat Marshall in the Frisco Bowl 35-17. They're coached by Jeff Traylor. They open at home against Kennesaw State, and they open AAC play at East Carolina. The home opener is August 31st. The conference opener is September 29th. Here's what Athlon Sports has to say about the Roadrunners. They have one pick to finish second in the AAC. The Roadrunners will definitely need some new faces to step up in 2024. In particular, replacing the offensive production will be a challenge, as will filling the void left by the league's best defensive player from last year. Head coach Jeff Traylor has been able to find the next man up since he took the job, and will have to do it again at key positions. Athlon has tight end Oscar Cardenas, defensive lineman Brandon Brown, linebacker Jamal Ligon, and kicker Chase Allen as preseason All-AAC team members. Texas football has the Roadrunners finishing first in the AAC, and they have them finishing at best at 11-1, at worst at 7-5. They gave their quarterbacks a rating of C. Their running backs a rating of B. Their receivers and tight end a rating of B, and their line of rating of B. On defense, they gave their line an A, their linebackers a B, and their secondary a C, also a B. They put the spotlight on running back Jamal Ligon. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not a running back, he's a linebacker. My mistake. Anyway, their take for the Roadrunners is that the Roadrunners provide a quiet confidence that they'll compete for a conference championship in 2024, despite losing some longtime leaders and program greats. Quarterback Frank Harrison, safety Rashad Wisdom. Belief is hardened by success, and no team in Texas has enjoyed more of that than UTSA from the start of the 2021 season. SMU is off to the ACC. Tulane is struggling, undergoing a coaching change. That leaves teams like Memphis and Army as potential roadblocks. Replacing an all-time quarterback is never easy, but improved depth and talent along with the offensive and defensive lines, combined with a vast set of receivers and a talented front seven on the defense, should put UTSA back in the mix. They also have some players who are on some watch lists for awards. They are, let me see here, running back Cavorian Barnes, he's on the Doak Walker watch list. Kicker Chase Allen is on the Lou Groza watch list, and wide receiver J.T. Clark is on the Werfel Foundation watch list, and offensive tackle Brandon Brown is on the Outland watch list. Coming up, a look at Texas and the sports in the year 1962. Before we take a look at sports in Texas in 1962, I'd like to let you know that on Friday we'll take a look at the Abilene Christian Wildcats football team for 2024. Okay, in Texas sports in 1962, the Dallas Texans were the AFL champions. They beat the Oilers in the AFL championship 20-17 in overtime. They were coached by Hank Stram. It's also when Lynn Dawson took over as quarterback. The 1962 Arlington State Rebels football team, coached by Chena Gilstrap, went 4-6. The 1962 Baylor Bears football team, coached by John Bridgers, went 4-6 with a 3-4 mark in the Southwest Conference. Texas beat Ole Miss 12-7 in the 1962 Cotton Bowl game. They finished in 1961 ranked number 3 in the AP and number 4 in the coaches poll. The Cowboys had their best record up to that point in their history at 5-8, finishing fifth in the NFL East. They also had a tie. The Harlan-Simmons Cowboys, the football team, coached by Jack Thomas, 1-9. As I said earlier, the Oilers lost in the AFL Championship to the Texans, 20-17. That's the Dallas Texans, by the way. They in the 1962 season, they went 11-3 and finished first in the AFL East. Their coach was Pop Ivy. And of course, the Cowboys were coached by Tom Landry. The 1962 Major League Baseball season was the inaugural season of the Houston Colt 45s. They had a record of 64-96 for 8th place. Their manager was Harry Kraft. The Houston Cougars, under first-year head coach Bill Yeoman, had a 7-4 record and beat Miami of Ohio 49-21 in the Tangerine Bowl. The Lamar Cardinals football team, that's the Lamar Tech Cardinals football team, coached by James B. Higgins, had a 7-3 record with a 4-3 record in the Lone Star Conference. The North Texas State Eagles football team, coached by Otis Mitchell, had a 6-4 record with a 2-1 record in the Missouri Valley. The 1962 Prairie View A&M Panthers football team, coached by Billy Nix, had a record of 6-3 with a 4-3 record in the SWAC, and they won the Prairie View Bowl 37-16 over Central State of Ohio. The 1962 Rice Owls football team, under Coach Jess Neely, had a 2-6-2 record with a 2-4-1 record in the Southwest Conference. A few weeks before the season, President Kennedy gave his famous "We choose to go to the moon" speech at Rice Stadium, which included the line, "Why does Rice play Texas?" The Sam Houston State Bearcats football team in 1962 had a record of 5-3-1 with a 4-2-1 record in the Lone Star Conference. They were coached by Paul Pierce. The SMU Mustangs football team, under first-year head coach Hayden Fry in 1962, had a record of 2-8 with a 2-5 record in the Southwest Conference. The 1962 Southwest Texas State Bobcats football team, coached by Milton Jowers, had an 8-2 record with a 6-1 record in the Lone Star Conference. The 1962 TCU Horned Frogs football team had a record of 6-4, a 5-2 record in the Southwest Conference. They were coached by Abe Martin. The 1962 Texas A&I Javelinas football team, coached by Gil Stanke, had a record of 9-0-1 with a 6-0-1 record in the Lone Star Conference, and they were the Lone Star Conference champions. The 1962 Texas A&M Aggies football team, coached by Hank Foldberg, had a 3-7 record, with a 3-4 record in the Southwest Conference. The 1962 Texas Longhorns baseball team, coached by Bibb Falk, had won the Southwest Conference with a 12-2 record, a 26-7 record overall, and they made it to the College World Series, winning 3 games out of 5. The 1962 Texas Longhorns football team, under Coach Darrell Royal, won the Southwest Conference. They finished with rank number 4 in both polls. Their record was 9-1-1, a 6-0-1 record in the Southwest Conference. The 1962 Texas Southern Tigers football team, coached by Alexander Durley, had a 7-3 record with a 5-2 record in the SWAC. The 1961-1962 Texas Tech Red Raiders basketball team were the regular season co-champions in the Southwest Conference, and they made it all the way to the Sweet 16. Their coach was Gene Gibson. The 1962 Texas Tech Red Raiders football team had a 1-9 record with an 0-7 mark in the Southwest Conference, and their coach was J.T. King. The Texas Western Miners football team for 1962 had a record of 4-5. They were an independent. They were coached by Bum Phillips. Yes, that Bum Phillips. The 1962 West Texas State Buffaloes were also an independent. They went 9-2. They were coached by Joe Kerbel, and they beat Ohio in the 1962 Sun Bowl at their home stadium, Kidd Field. The Sun Bowl was played in El Paso. In fact, the stadium that replaced Kidd Field is called the Sun Bowl. Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. UTEP. What? Texas Western. Now UTEP played in the. I'm sorry. Texas Western. Now UTEP played it. Now Texas El Paso played in the. Plays in the Sun Bowl. The Buffaloes back then played at the Buffalo Bowl. And the 1962 Wiley Wildcats football team, coached by Fred T. Long, went 35-1, with a 1-5-1 record in the SWAC. And that's a look at Texas sports in 1962. Next, a look at Texas sports legend Bobby Layne. Now there's a look at Texas sports legend Bobby Layne. Born December 19th, 1926, died December 1st, 1986. He was a quarterback for 15 seasons in the NFL, played his college ball at the University of Texas, was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 1948 NFL Draft, and then was traded to the Chicago Bears. He played a season with the Bears and then the New York Bulldogs. He then went on to lead the Detroit Lions from 1950 to 1958, and then finally played for the Steelers from 1958 to 1962. He won 3 NFL championships as a member of the Lions from 1952, 1953, and 1957. Was a 2-time first-team All-Pro in 1952 and 1956. 4-time second-team All-Pro from 1953, 1954, 1958, and 1959. He went to the Pro Bowl 6 times, 1951 to 1953, 1956, 1958, and 1959. He was a 2-time NFL passing yards leader in 1950 and 1951. He was the NFL passing and touchdowns leader in 1951. He was the NFL completion percentage leader in 1955. He was the NFL scoring leader in 1956. He was on the NFL 1950s All-Decade team. He was a member of the Lions 75th anniversary team. He was a member of the Lions All-Time team. The Lions retired as number 22. He's also a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers legend team. He's in the Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Honor. He's in the Pittsburgh Pro Football Hall of Fame. He was a consistent All-American in 1947, a second-team All-American in 1946. He was a 4-time first-team All-Southwest Conference, 1944, 1945, 1946, 1947 at the University of Texas, who retired as number 22. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1967 and the College Football Hall of Fame in 1968. Like I said earlier, his number 22 is retired by both the Lions and the Texas Longhorns. Bobby Layne was also a pitcher at the University of Texas. And he served in the Merchant Marine during World War II. He was inducted in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in 1960, the Longhorn Hall of Honor in 1963. they call the reason the Lions haven't won a championship since 1957 and have never played in the Super Bowl. The curse of Bobby Layne. When he was traded by the Lions to the Steelers, he was supposed to have said that the Lions wouldn't win for 50 years. The story's been called a hoax, because the story quote was never published back then. But like I said, the Lions are one of a few teams one of two teams actually, the Browns being the other one, that won NFL championships but have never won or much less played in the Super Bowl. Anyway, I actually had the pause button on earlier. I don't know if you heard me, but Mr. Layne passed away from cancer in 1986, and at his funeral, one of the pallbearers was former football great from SMU, a 1948 Heisman Trophy winner, Doak Walker. And that's all I got for you now. I want to talk to you again on Friday.